Hello everybody.
Hi.
So, welcome to the new house. By the way, we moved in early February.
A humble background.
Exactly.
We have
So,
today.
so we didn't actually show the house before. You just saw a white wall, but that's actually our pool.
Yeah.
The house is in the forest, so we have a monkey problem, and it's not something you hear all the time.
No.
And we're not talking about the Mickey that are very small. We're talking about we say
Yeah.
capucin in French. You know, like they're about that big
Macacos,
without the tail.
Portuguese.
Yeah.
Portuguese.
And we get like
Yeah.
20, 30, 40 of them, something like that. So they go all over the house because there's trees everywhere. And the dog loses his mind. So if you see him going ape shit, that means apes, monkeys are coming. Anyway,
Well, my French bulldog has a purpose. He's a very good guard dog. In his persona, he's a.
the only reason they do
Prevention.
not enter the house is because of him. So even though they are actually bigger than the thing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And he's
So-
a very good boy.
today, what are we going to talk about? Last time we did, well, before that. So I missed last week because actually I was in New York and San Francisco. I was in New York for a big conference on autism and the Move initiatives, and then in San Francisco toward the startup. So all that is moving very well, but it turns out LA is moving just as fast, if not faster. So
So exciting.
yeah, within the next 2 months, we're going to open another location in Simi Valley, right? I'll make an episode about that.
Yeah.
And we're
deserves its own
actually,
episode.
I need to explain exactly what's going to happen there. But long story short, this is actually going to be the first Strongfit Gym. Like not HQ, like a place where I was training. This is going to be the first Strongfit Gym, which means you'll have obviously autism and anxiety, because that's the route we're going. But we will also put the movement, the typical Strongfit movement stuff in it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what name we're gonna call it. If it's gonna be Spectrum or what, but
Divergent
doesn't matter.
fitness.
Divergent fitness, because it'll be Divergent fitness and Strongfit together. But no matter what, it will be the first Strongfit Gym. So I thought that was cool.
So cool.
Then we're gonna start an affiliate program,
Yeah.
at least for the autism and anxiety thing, and maybe as a Strongfit affiliate. I didn't do it before because there was no, honestly, I thought business sense for you guys to have an affiliate program. It's not like clients are gonna show up because you do Strongfit. I'm not, like the Strongfit is not famous enough. I thought to warrant an affiliate system because I didn't think you would benefit from it. That's different because there's going to be anxiety and there's going to be the autism as well. And those things, very, very few people are looking at anxiety in movement, for example. And certainly not autism in movement. So there's a very underserved population and absolutely no one to take care of it.
Yeah,
So I do believe business-wise this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because you can link also like the regional centers and everything if you have
Right,
like
so
the
that we'll do an
affiliate
episode
stuff
on that to explain
yeah.
like how we're going to
So
open
there's more
that
benefits
gym.
than if you're just a
I
Strongfit
think, yeah,
affiliate,
I think business-wise this makes sense. So I'll explain that on the next episode. Today we're going to talk about how to get good at being strong, because last time we did
Tell
being
me.
CrossFitter. So we're going to go how to get good at being strong. So mostly I'm going
Which
to.
is honestly, isn't that everybody's life purpose?
It should be. I don't know that it is because there's a lot of cardio bunnies out there, but it should be. So really, what I'm gonna talk about is what I've learned trying to get strong, right?
And you are very strong and you got really
Well, it depends compared to whom, trust me. But I have
Always.
friends that are, but that's kind of the game, right? Anyway, like lately, I've been able to put my numbers back up. So right now, I'm doing my stiff leg without a belt for sets of 5 with 425. So like the back strength is coming back. You know what I mean, I feel myself going back to. It's probably because I'm over 240. Let's be honest, but I can go back to strongman. Everything feels good and strong. Bench press is up. The press is up. So everything is going back up. So lifetime of trying to be strong, really, with all the mistakes. What have I learned? So if we're going to talk about being strong, first we're going to talk recovery. Most people misunderstand recovery. They think muscle. That's nothing. Honestly, the body, you can hammer the same muscles almost every day. It won't make a difference. You see that through CrossFit and everything. If anything, you can make progress, just not in strength. Olympic weightlifting is different because it's such a skillful movement. But let's say if you were to deadlift every day, trust me, you would go nowhere. It's just not the way this works. You can squat every day, almost. Probably not every day, but often. But the squat is different, probably because there's specific components to it. When we talk recovery, we're going to talk soft tissue and nervous system.
Yeah.
Those are the ones you need to take care of. So soft tissue, why? Because honestly, the biggest lesson that I've learned with all those years is you can't get strong if it hurts. And
What do you mean by that?
yeah, because there's a difference between like, sore as shit or, what I'm talking about is like, I don't know, bench press, right? Bench press. And your shoulder in the morning is like, ow, you do this, or like you reach for the soap and you go like, you have a reduced range of motion, stuff like that. So your shoulder pinches a bit, and sometimes if you feel that, your bench press is going to drop by 20% within the next month. It's just the way it is. Or at least just maintaining it is going to be hard. You are not going to go up in strength if you have that tweak either in your back or in your shoulder or stuff like that. So that sounds obvious, but I cannot tell you the number of people that I've seen that goes through 8-week cycle or 10-week cycle, whatever, and week 3, the shoulder is already getting grounded to a halt, and then they just keep pushing. And it works for like 8 reps, but the second you start to go into those 5-4, especially 3-1, you're gone. Your shoulder just won't work. Like you can get away with 5 reps maybe, but below that your shoulder won't let you because it has to be taken care of.
Yeah, I mean I think it's for everything, honestly, right? Like you have to not be in pain.
If your knee hurts, you can do friend, but you're not squatting 2 rep max.
Yeah, no, I see.
You know what I mean? Like because you lower the load, you kind of move your hip a little bit, you compensate. By the way, creates his own set of problems. Don't get me wrong, but you can power through. You're not doing that with pure strength. When you have a max double and you start to shift, you'll blow something else. It just doesn't work like that, right? So, how do we fix that? I'm gonna get to that later. Then the nervous system. So the key is
That's very underestimated one. Right?
Yeah, because most people think like it means like have I recovered from the last session? No, that's not how you have to look at it. And we're going to talk sets and all that stuff. What you have to look at is, can I push harder this week? Am I recover enough to give not just like, I can give it a go, but can I do better than last week? Because that's the mindset. The mindset when you do 8-10 week cycle is I need to do better than last week, either in intensity, in weight, in reps, or whatever. But that means that you're going to have to be just not recover enough to go like I survived the last session. You're going to have to go into the next session thinking I'm going to kill that.
Yeah.
And that's a nervous system thing. If you're exhausted, you're not killing anything. Mentally as well as physically. That's why in most cycle, I like to focus on one exercise versus others because let's say powerlifting, all 3 at the same time, bench, squat, deadlift, mentally it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough, right? And if you do that strength, usually your assistance work is going to have to go away. And then we're going to go back to the soft tissue getting pounded. So my advice, honestly, is focus on one thing at a time. Like you're still going to work the other stuff, but the main focus should be on a specific exercise you want to get better at. Specific lift, you want to get better at. I think that matters. And when it comes to training, like obviously I like small cycles, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, stuff like that. We can talk conjugate versus linear progression. I've done a podcast on that. But I think something I would really stress is whenever things get serious is to do one set. In one set of 5 reps, honestly. We all want to get to 3-2-1. My experience is triples don't make you stronger. Like you need to get at some point to the 3-2-1s. Let's say you have a competition, so you just need to handle the weight. You need to learn to lift at 100%, right? But that's for competition. So that's specialization. Honestly, most of your work should be done in 5 reps, if not higher. I think 5 reps is a perfect number of reps to get strong. Because it's light enough that the first 3 reps you're in control, and then you really start to muscle, like, struggle rep 4 and 5, which is where the progress is going to be, but the first 3 are going to be smoother and stuff like that. When we start to go to 3 reps, the first rep is already hard. So you don't really have the time to set in the technique and all of this. I think the best way is one set of 5 reps. That's why 5 reps. Why one set? Because honestly, if you do 3 reps of 5, which can be the beginning of the cycle so that you get the volume in, but the real work is going to be with that one set. Because if you do 3 sets, honestly, what you're getting good at is getting good at doing 3 sets of 5. You're building the strength to last 3 sets, right? And that has its importance, but that's not going to be the core of the work. The core of the work for me is a Dorian Yates type of mentality, which means you come to the gym and you're going to give your max to that set to elicit the maximum response so that I can be stronger the next session. If I start with 3 sets of 5, we're more in a, almost like a, it's not exactly strength endurance, but like what you're really getting good at is getting good at that third set.
Yeah, so you teach yourself a little bit too much, not to game it, but to pace it in a way.
Yeah, so you're betting on volume, right? Helping you a lot, which is true to a degree, but you have to understand that 3 sets at top intensity, man, the nervous system is going to get pummeled, right? So imagine you have a session where you do 2 exercises, maybe 3. Now we're at 9 sets of top intensity at 5 reps.
Yeah, you can't bring it.
Talk about soft tissue fatigue and nervous system, like it's a lot, right? So we could do 1 exercise, 3 sets. I like to do, I have a, and I'm going to explain why, but I have a certain number of exercises I need to do to make sure my back, for example, doesn't hurt and stay healthy and things like this. So usually I work myself to a top set of 5 reps. And that's how lately things have been moving very well. It's because like 5 reps is enough of a stress, but not too much that I either fry mentally, nervous system, or I start to ache somewhere because it's just too damn too damn much.
So, and that's how you build like your pure strength training session on all the components of the strength you do, or how? Yeah,
I've done that on all exercises, and I have to say I'm getting the best results because that set of 5 reps I can apply myself. Like the first rep usually is a hard one for me off the floor because like you're getting under stress. 2 and 3 is where I really do the movement the best.
Yeah.
And then 4 and 5 is when I start to muscle stuff.
Yeah.
So if you look at the performance box, the first rep would be the skill where I'm learning to connect properly. 2 and 3 is muscle capacity. 4 and 5 is neural output. Because that 5th rep, I'm just muscling.
Yeah.
But back then everything is fatigue, but also warm. Like the weight is not too heavy to control. So I like that weight a lot. So 90%, 5 reps would be probably close to 90%, depending a bit.
Yeah, so
for women it's higher, for men it's probably a bit lower.
You warm up to that weight, and then you get ready for that set, give it your own intensity,
and then boom,
you fucking hit it,
and then I'm done. Because that set,
I like that better.
That set at max intensity should create enough of a stimulus that rested you can get a bit stronger.
Yeah.
A bit stronger, I just mean like maybe the 5th rep is a little bit easier, like it feels a little bit lighter on your back. Like it's not necessarily right away I can add weight or do another rep, but you're moving toward getting stronger. And that's what I want every session to be, is the next session I should feel stronger than the one prior. That's why recovery matters so much, because if you start to it's the Mike Menzer, Dorian Yates mentality, high intensity, where they go like minimum dose required to get stronger. I think that's a proper way to look at it. So maybe for you it's 2 sets, by the way, not 1, depending on where you are, weights and things like that. For example, if you squat 220, you probably need more than 1 set, right? But when you start to go in the 500, like trust me, 1 set can do a lot. And especially if you're even stronger than that, because if you're, let's say you have an 800-pound deadlift, you know how many sets of warm-up you need to do to get there? That's a lot of sets. So the volume you're going to get there anyway. So as you get stronger, you do more sets to warm up, you increase the volume as well. So make sure you understand that when you start adding the weight. So
and put some fucking weight on the bar when you do those 5 reps. Don't chicken out on it.
Right, that's the thing. It's not also like concentrate on technique and everything, like always anyway, right? But you're gonna have to start blasting. So
I mean, is that not the beauty from strength?
Yeah. Sorry, the monkeys are over there. So so for me, it's been 1 set of 5 has done the best lately. So my approach, for example, so I'll talk about the stuff I need to do to get strong, because that's what I've been focusing for 2-3 months. That's why I didn't post the template in the last 2 months, because I was trying to figure out exactly this new cycle, and it's working very well. So I'll start posting the new template soon. I do the sumo off the floor because I need to work that connection like hammies and glutes, right? And then I do stiff leg because that's more toward the hammies. Then I finish with hip thrusters because that's more toward glutes. And if I do those 3, I have 0 back issues, and I can do, and it defines my week like that. So and then it works on my posterior chain from hammies to that connection hammies glutes to the full glutes to the hip thrust. I do 1 set, heavy 5-6 reps, sumo, stiff leg, glute bridges, and then things. My hammies are finally growing, and my back is getting much stronger because
your legs are developing.
yeah, but I have a very strong mid back, very strong. That's why I carried the 1,000-pound yoke. But my lower back, so below the mid back, right, that lumbar rector is actually not strong. And I found that the stiff leg is a very good exercise for me when it comes to that. And the box squat as well, actually. High bar box squat just fries my lower back because I can't use my mid back. It's more like, so those are the things I'm working on because I noticed if those go up, everything goes up. So that's been my approach. Minimum dosage required, and it's the same thing as I choose exercises, right? So let's say you want to get at the squat, you want to get at the deadlift, the bench. Is that the best way? What exercise you should do? If you compete, there's no question that you're going to have to do that exercise because you need to excel at the technique for that. If the goal is to get stronger overall, honestly, I would choose an exercise that speaks to you. Like
That you feel passionate about.
when I deadlifted 620, it came out of an 8-week cycle of just stiff leg. But I got really good at the stiff leg, and it transferred right away to my deadlift. That's because my back can take the weight, could take way more than 600. My lower back couldn't. So the stiff leg allowed me to build that. So I'm at a stage where I don't need to deadlift. What I need is the stiff leg to go up because as soon as the stiff leg goes up, my deadlift goes up anyway.
So interesting, right?
Yeah, the hammies are getting thicker, so I know that will lead to a bigger deadlift. And in the past, I got so enamored with low reps, 1, 2, 3, that every time I got a little bit stronger, I went right back to deadlift to test it because I wanted to see that PR, right? And of course, I fucked it up every time because that's not how you
But
build.
it's a temptation.
Yeah, the temptation is always there, right?
Always.
So,
I'm always tempted.
like for example, I talked to Joe DiMaggio, who invented the box squat actually at the original gym in Culver City. The original gym in Culver City of the anyway, the original gym. He invented the box squat, and he was telling me like he didn't not actually back squat. He was a power lifter. He was box squatting, and he was just back squat in competition. So I'm sure he did a few squats here and there to find his technique. But he knew what he could back squat for 3. He could box squat for 3. He could back squat. So that's how he calculated things. He did the same thing for the bench press. He had something called the belly toss, which basically you bring the bar on the stomach and then you thrust with your hips in the air and then you just catch it. And when he could belly toss for 3, he could bench press. He ended up bench pressing for 40. At 185, that was really good. Yeah, we're talking, by the way, he's 80-something years old now. So we're talking in the 60s, 70s, Pat Casey time, all that stuff. Yeah. And so, he was the original West Side. There we go. Gym, because Culver City, and then Jim West was the other owner. And so,
so he basically had his accessories for his main lifts.
well, he has his lifts for his main lift.
Yeah,
they were not accessory
yeah,
works because he was loading them. We're going to talk accessory. But they were not exactly accessory, but they were main lifts. Yeah. They were lifts for his main lift.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that have done that. So those are two schools of thoughts. You know, people that are highly specialized in that lift, and people who just try to get stronger overall and have use certain lift versus others. What I like about the idea of the lift to help your main lift is that some exercises speak to you better than others. Like they allow you to punch the weight harder. You feel better through them. Like I've always find the farmer's deadlift. Like I'm doing a farmer's walk, very very simple to do for me from a technique perspective. Yeah. I just feel very very strong in that position, regardless of how high the handle is. So. That's a better exercise for me overall, especially for 5 reps, than a deadlift for 5 reps, where I'm struggling more with the positioning. I have very long femur, so my knees always get in the way. So anyway, it's not nearly as good for me as the farmers, for example. So some exercise talk to you better, and I think those would be the exercise you should choose in order to do that one set of 5 reps to get strong. Like I know as soon as my stiff leg goes up, my deadlift goes up. So we're going to look at it like that. And then the last point I want to make about strength before we go into assistance work, which is also very important. So we're talking about what we call the 5s, right? So that one set of 5 is put the neoprene on. Man, does it make a difference. I got to tell you, because I traveled to San Francisco so much, I couldn't have the neoprene as much. The second I'm back home and I start putting it on a regular basis, it changes everything. Yeah. Use neoprene. I'm not kidding. I'm still using it. That shit is great. like it's working better than I ever anticipated. Every time I don't put it for 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and I go back to it, I'm like, oh my God, this works better. The neoprene is the shit. I'm not kidding. So use it. Trust me.
Yeah.
So those are the 5s, right? One set of 5, max weight, with an exercise that speaks to you. How many of them? For me, it depends a little bit. Like, so for example, I'll decompose the squat, the deadlift, and the bench from a powerlifting perspective, right? If you put strongman, you have to put obviously the overhead stuff. For the deadlift, again, I do the sumo, I do the stiff leg, and then I do the hip thrusters. All 3 develop my posterior chain, and very importantly, keep my back pain-free. The less pain in my back or discomfort in my back, it's not pain, but it is discomfort sometimes, the stronger I get fast. And so after that, it's just having a strong back day where I do my deadlift rows and my dumbbell rows with 100 kilos. Honestly, with those exercises, the deadlift will go well. Yeah. After, it's more like my core being strong enough and things like this, which leads a little bit to the squat. So for example, the squat, instead of back squatting, I like the box squat a lot. That Joe showed me. And he blasts my lower back again, same spot almost as a deadlift. So between those two, I feel everything goes up better when I focus on those exercises. And I like the sandbag front squat. The sandbag front squats develop my upper back like nothing else. It protects the spine, and I'm 100% pain-free when I do a front squat. I get the exercise, and it's a lot of quads. Way better for me than the barbell front squat. Way better. For the bench, I like to bench off of blocks, right? So the top, maybe not top half, but top 2/3 of the movement. It's a little bit like a belly toss. I have a foam roller. That's the only way I use a foam roller, by the way. It's on the bench press. I put it on my chest. I bring it down, and I explode up. And that actually allows me to have very good technique, use my legs very well, and I don't go all the way down. It doesn't put too much stress on my shoulders, and it allows me to overload my upper back and my triceps, and that actually always led to a bigger bench. And then I do some shoulder work with a dumbbell press and things like this, and that combination has worked really, really well. Now, those are lifts, right? This is not assistance work. Assistance work, we go in the hundreds. That's a different idea, because what you have to understand is when I train, there's really 2 mindsets. There's the one I'm getting stronger, which means I have my lifts and I'm going to fuck shit up. I'm going to put the neoprene, I'm going to do that 1 set of 5, and I'm trying to get stronger every week. And I'm going to give what I got. When I do the 100, it's a completely different mentality. I just get a pump. So I look at the angles, exercises that I need. We're already at 23 minutes, so we'll talk about it. We'll do that next week. When I look at the 100s to get stronger, I'm just going to look at getting a pump, helping the soft tissue heal faster, and keeping my body in one piece and pain-free so that I can put more energy into my lifts.
And creating that right movement pattern that you also need when you start.
So what I noticed before we go, and it's very important, is where I get in trouble is where I find myself in the 50s. Because I tried, and actually I got in trouble yet again, and I see a little bit the same thing with CrossFit. I think most people want to use the 50s to get stronger. Same thing with CrossFit. They do heavy works because you're trying to get stronger and enduring at the same time. So people do 50s. Because I was traveling so much, I ended up going to the global gym a lot. I was like, oh, it's okay. I'll just do like a heavy bodybuilding. And I got in trouble again. Like I got stronger with dumbbells and stuff like that, but it didn't translate to my lift in strongman at all. And on top of it, I was starting to get a big shot as usual. It took a lot longer than the last few times. But what I discovered is that the soft tissue was really getting kind of violated, and those lifts that were better in the global gym were not translating to strongman, which is the problem. So instead of having a mindset of 5s or 100s, I was in the 50s, which is to do 3 sets of 8 reps and everything. That is not the mindset that I find allows me to get stronger. The mindset that allows me to get stronger is I'm going to put everything I got in a set of 5 in the right exercises, and that's a session by itself. And another session is going to be the 100s, and then the point is not thinking heavy build muscle, is just get a pump. 12, 15 reps, maybe 20, just get a pump, don't worry about it. Because if I start to worry about, I'm going to put on muscle, I go heavier, on the hundreds, and that in turn will not allow me to recover for my set of fives. And now the five starts to suffer, I get frustrated, I want to go heavier into my assistance work, which of course makes it worse. So I found that the only thing that really works is that if I do the hundreds, I do the hundreds. I find a pump, I don't force the movement, everything is very relaxed, I'm just not thinking, I don't have to adjust to the weight too much, it's light enough that I can just bang the stuff, I don't have to think of anything outside of getting a good pump. Then I find the right angles, the right exercises, we're going to talk about it, in order to keep everything together. But it's such a different mindset from the fives. It also allows me to be in the gym and not stress out, because all I'm doing is getting a pump. I don't care about the weight,
so
I don't think
like
about it.
Relaxing day mentally,
Yeah,
where you don't have to
100%.
force it and you just still get that work in, you need to get your assistance working, but if there's no...
And then I'll do more, we'll talk about it, sets and everything, but it's that, where I can just go get the pump. An exercise feels better, I do an extra set, maybe even 2 extra sets. They don't, I do 2 sets, they feel great, I might do 4 sets. I'm just looking for a pump somewhere in specific exercises designed to help me with the other stuff, as we'll talk about. But sorry, I'm getting eaten by an ant.
Yeah, so here, this is kind of maybe funny to say, it's like here ants actually sting you.
Oh, and they it's like Africa. They're not fire ants, but that one is black, but Jesus Christ, it feels like a fire ant. I just got stung.
Fire ants here come also in black and red.
And then that thing just bit me here. I didn't do anything, just stung me out of the blue. It's because we're in the jungle. Like the forest is literally next door, and we get crazy bugs on top of monkeys. Anyway, so
as you guys are, as we're recording this, there's like 2 there.
They're coming because it's starting to get 4 o'clock. They're starting to get down, and they're gonna try to steal the food again. Anyway,
because we are surrounded by fruit trees, so they steal all my avocados. So I still have to go to the market to buy avocados because they eat my avocados.
Yeah, they do. Anyway, it's cute at the zoo. It's not too cute when they are.
No.
They're right here actually. Anyway. So the progress I made lately is because I have a very, very specific mindset toward training. And I think I get in trouble when I combine the two. When instead of having those two opposite thoughts that I have to maintain, I go toward the 50s, and that works for a short while. But I cannot stay in the 50s long.
I feel you on that. Like I feel a little bit the same. Like I need to have a week with different types of mindsets per training. Like it cannot all be 50 mindset. It has to be some in the 5s, some in the 100s. I can do a little bit in the 50s when it comes to like conditioning, maybe like. Right. But not too much.
But I think people make the same mistake with CrossFit when they go into those heavy walls all the time, because they're trying to get stronger at the same time as getting endurance. And I don't think that's the right way. I think when you should. That's why Murph is good, because it's pure conditioning, but you also have the 1 rep max, and be careful about falling into those 12-minute workouts very heavy. I think they'll grind you soft tissue and nervous system wise to a point where you'll just take a step back. I mean, and then it's very hard. Anyway, 30 minutes. We shall talk about the assistance work, the way I look at it, next week. Thank you, everybody.